I'm Dan from BuildExact. I'm going to be talking about some of the markup changes that have been recently added into BuildExact. Redistribution, I'm going to start by explaining how it previously worked, and then we'll go backwards, then we'll go forwards a little bit into talking about how it works now. And this will give you a really good context as to the problem we're trying to solve. So for this exact quote, I've printed it out before the update, and the way it will show is for the 3 PC items I've got at $1,000 each, we will show that to the client with tax. So 10% brings us to $1,100. And if I, in my quote, was to show each and every item, what we used to do is just assume that we should always show the PC item at its non-marked up price throughout your whole quote. The problem that gave us was that the markup had to go somewhere, and as a result, we would redistribute the markup onto other items. This led to questions from people saying, hey, I've gone through my quote and I don't understand how this price came to be, not realizing that the markup had moved onto it. So in this case, you'll remember the permit was $1,000. We had 10% markup, 10% GST. This $1,500 is well above that, and it's because all of this additional markup is going from here onto here. So we just made that decision for you in the past. Looking forward to today, when I turn these off, when I turn a PC item on, it straight away changes this button, where this button will be either N, C, or E, meaning when I have a PC item, what price will it show and how will it move the markup? So you now get the choice, is basically what's happened. N is saying no redistribution, don't move the price at all, meaning this item is at full value, it's showing the markup. If I say C, which is move the cost within the category, you'll notice it now has no markup on it and it's redistributing elsewhere in the category. I purposely did an example with all 3 items redistributing because I wanted to show what happens if it tries to move it in the category and all of the other items are in the same setting or on the same setting and it can't shuffle the markup anywhere else. It'll actually default to the E setting, which is everywhere. So if it can't shuffle it within the category, it'll move it to the E setting, which is to move it everywhere throughout the estimate for you. The way that it used to be set up was the C setting. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change it to this one. So I'm going to say don't shuffle my markup at all. And this is now the marked up price. I'm going to go print my quote and point out very briefly just one other setting which ties into this very well, and that's when I show the PC item table, I've now got the option to point out to my client what markup is on there. So I'm going to turn this on and I'm going to print this quote again. And we're basically going to look at the exact same estimate all over again, but in the new format. So first change is it's now showing the markup that this has because I clicked the little print option box to say show my markup. Second change is this now is without tax. This is purely the cost price. So $1,000 is what I put in and $1,000 is what the client sees. Down further, we have no longer made that decision for you about how it is redistributed. I clicked the N button, which means no redistribution, which means these are shown with tax and markup to the client. And this is shown at its normal price with tax and markup. There's no markup being moved onto this item. If I was to do it another way, which would be to go back and say, hey, move it across the category, and as I mentioned before, it's going to make the decision for me that it can't move it in the category, it's going to push it throughout the rest of the quote. I'm going to turn that on and I'm going to leave it with this setting down here to show the markup. Now, because I've made the decision that I want to move the markup, it's saying, well, you're moving the markup because you're not wanting to show the client that markup. So if I've got the setting on to show the markup to the client, it'll say the 0% because elsewhere in the document, that's the price we've shown. We've shown a price that shows no markup being added. So I guess to put it another way, whatever this shows, we will support that with prices that you show elsewhere in your document. As a result, the markup in this case has been moved back up to here. Great. Any other questions? As always, get in touch with us and we'll be able to help you out. Thanks so much.